Welcome to 3DLANES number 58. This time around, we're going to be talking about another line of Fuji cameras, but we spoke about the X series in episode 45, if I'm not mistaken. So this time we'll be talking about the XH series. And a lot of people don't know about the XH series. I was one of them. I can count myself in it. Not because I had never seen the camera, but I just had never paid attention to the line until I read an article. I don't know if it was F-stoppers, but they were talking about how Fuji should leave the flagship kind of like heavy lifting to the XH series. So I looked into it, and because I was not really familiar with the XH line, but the XH line, it's a professional focus branch of the Fujifilm's X series. So you could say it's not two different lines. It might be like a subline of the X series, if you want to think about it that way. But it was first introduced, at least the XH1 was introduced in 2018, 2019. It had a very short run of 20 months, and it was priced at around 1,800, 1,900, right? Because if let's leave the psychology of pricing to the side, because it was priced at 1,899.95. So technically it's $2,000. So this is a $2,000 camera compared to the XT series, which would be the XT4, XT5, XT3. Those are priced at around 15, if I'm not mistaken. New, used go down a couple $100, but I do not believe that the XT series is at this price. And a little Google search will help us here. XT5 Fuji. Let's see. New. From the Fuji website, I can tell that the XT5 is... Geez, why does it take so long to find the price? Here we go. Oh, it shows out of stock. Great. So it doesn't even show me the price. But... Oh, and it says discontinued. Wow, this is news to me. I just saw this, but on the Fujifilm website, the XT5 shows as discontinued. So we're probably getting an XT6 soon. Wow, I was not expecting that. But okay, so next resort pricing new. And I can tell you that the XT5, no, it was actually around the same price. It's body only shows as almost 2K, because 1,999. And that is interesting. But with inflation, we might argue that, the pricing might have been around the same. Well, leaving that aside, pricing is pretty similar, I guess, from the XT series. But the thing is, the camera also feature a 24 megapixel X-Trans CMOS 3 sensor, 5-axis in-body image stabilization, which is IBIS. We talked about it in the last episode about the lens. And 5 EV rating and 4K video recording capabilities, up to 30 FPS, frames per second. And again, it was short-lived. The camera had a very premature death, and I guess some people say that it's unlucky timing because Fuji released the more powerful XT3 6 months later, and it kind of like cannibalized the whole thing. So there was a gap period between 2019 to 2022, and then on 2022 the XH2S and XH2 were released. The XH line was born again, and supposedly this flagship releases, the XH2 was announced in May 31st, 2022, and released in July, when the XH2 was announced, I think, in September of the same year. But okay, here it is. The XH2 was a flagship model price at $2,499. All right, so that's a huge gap. That's $500 gap between this and the XT5. And now it had a stacked sensor, backside illuminating, and it was the first of its kind for Fuji, and it enabled 4x faster data readout than previous generations. So it was a faster camera, or it is because it's still in production. The XH2 that was released in September 2022, it's a $2,000 camera, and this one features a 40 megapixel sensor. The other one was 26. This one is 40, but it was the first APS-C camera capable of internal 8K Apple ProRes recording, and the dual flagship strategy allow Fuji to serve both speed focus if you were going for the XH2S, and the resolution demanding users with the XH2. So if you want either or if you favor one of the things over the other, you have two perfectly clear choices to go from there. The production duration has been 7 years and 10 months, from 2018 March to January 2026, and this including the 3-year gap between the generations. The strategy of Fuji, I'm not gonna touch on it because we already have spoken about it, but this is another step to diversify their portfolio, innovation on when it comes to sensor. But yeah, some of the things that you can take into consideration is like the supply chain challenges for cameras from Fuji. They had to move manufacturing from China back to Japan, and now approximately 90% of Fujifilm cameras are now manufactured in Japan, compared to before it was mostly Chinese. Let's see what else. Elasticity. I think we can say that the camera markets generally have a moderate to high price elasticity because consumers have many options. There's many competitors, but Fuji has successfully reduced the price sensitivity, mainly, and I'm not gonna say just with Fuji, but that's with all the camera manufacturers. As soon as you go into the ecosystem, unless it's a point and shoot that you don't have to change lenses, you kind of are locked into the ecosystem. The more lenses you buy, the more invested you are in the platform, and to get out of it, it's not a big issue, but you have more things to sell, more accessories to sell, and depending on how many things you've gathered from the brand. Next, we can move to the 4P analysis, and we're going to start with product. Again, we touched on it a little bit, but the XH line is I consider a premium, mainly because of the price. That tells you where or what segment of the market Fuji is trying to target. It's a professional grade mirrorless camera, and it has some distinctive features like form factor. It's a larger DSLR body with integrated vertical grip, top LCD. That's a main differentiation between the two cameras. The XT series doesn't have an LCD on the top of the camera, and it's substantially bigger. It has a bigger grip for heavier lenses. The technology, it has Fuji's cutting edge sensors like the 26 megapixel stacked or 40 megapixels high resolution. I'm not sure if this is the one that we saw later in the XT5, but yeah, it's kind of like how Fuji shows or launches their cutting edge stuff. So it has an advanced autofocus with AI driven subject direction. That's something that I would like to check out. ProRes internal recording. Differentiation, again, the film simulation modes from Fuji are basically a staple from the brand. extra and color filter array, professional video features, something that I think the XT4 was more targeted for. Is it the XT4 or XT5? It's kind of like targeted just for still photography. This one has both. Product lifecycle. Both XH models remain, the XH2 model, sorry, remain current as of January 2026. And this is around 3.5 to 4 years into the life cycle. But as we discover from the Fuji website, the XT5 might be getting an overhaul or refresh, getting into the XT6, and this is around the same amount of time where the XT5 has been around, 2022, I believe. The pricing, the second P, Fuji uses value-based pricing that reflects the quality and professional positioning, the same as the lens that we covered last time. There's a differentiation between the lenses of Fuji, same with the cameras. So we have the XH2S, which was originally 2,500 body only, and it recently increased to approximately 2,800, or according to the listing, it's 2,799 because of tariffs. The XH2 was originally 1,999, so 2K, now approximately $2,200. The pricing strategy for Fuji is basically targeting premium customers above entry-level cameras, but below full-frame competitors, still trying to get that space within the market. There's usually promotions and bundle offers you can find if you're patient enough. There's some price discrimination here. Different models target speed focus versus resolution focus professionals at different price points. So this is almost getting into the, is it GX series or GFX? GX series. If you want the 40 megapixel sensor, you might be getting like a tiny GX camera from Fuji. Let's see. There's a lot of aggressive discounting from Fuji that you'll find. And this, you can see it from all the brands that are trying to get to the premium segment. Like Rolex, you're never going to find a discount from Rolex. Porsche, I really doubt you'll find any substantial discounts from Porsche. But it's not like, what is the Honda thing? There's a month where Honda, or the Toyota-thon that they have here in the US, where all the Toyotas are on sale. But you're not going to find something like that from Porsche, right? So the same thing with Fuji. There's not a lot of discounts, but because they don't want to make the brand look like it's not as valuable as it should. One of the quotes from one of the heads from Fuji is, "It would be quite unfortunate to manufacture too much and lower the price." So they're trying to keep what is it called? They want to create their own scarcity for the product, so the product doesn't look like it's always on the shelf. So people would wait for them to not sell and get a discount on whatever's on the shelf. Next, P, place distribution. Like we mentioned last time, we have retail partnerships, online sales, international distribution. So it depends, right? It depends where you're buying. You can buy online, like I bought my lens last time from either KEH or MPB or B&H. All these three major platforms, they sell camera equipment, either used or new, and you can get it there. I mean, there's a few of these. I think if not all of them, they have a storefront where you can go visit, or you can go to your local camera store, wherever you're located. Next, P, promotion. Again, they have digital marketing, content marketing, product placement, educational webinars and stuff like that, where they show you how to use their products. One thing that I have not seen, maybe when they first launched this XH2, They have probably webinars on how to use it, but I have not seen a lot of creators, right, using this XH camera. Mainly, I've seen GF or GX. Is it GX or GFX? Well, the GX cam, the G line of Fuji cameras. I've seen people using the XT line of cameras or the point and shoots, but not this one. Honestly, this one is like pretty hidden. It's kind of like, I hate the term, but like if you know, you know kind of thing. Again, this is not a very common camera that I see all the time. Another interesting fact that I found about this camera was that it uses the same X mount. So, if you have an XT5, for example, you don't need to switch to another line of lenses to use an XH2. Let's say you want to trade an XT5 for an XH2, you can definitely do it, and you can definitely use all the lenses that you had for the XT5. So there's no need to switch or invest in another line of lenses like the GX line or GFX line of lenses. Sorry. Okay, so after all, it's GFX. Let's get that clear. GFX. So the GFX uses its own mount, and the X mount is something different. So yes, now we can categorize this one, the XH2 and the XH2S, as a subline of the X family, and you have the XT side of things and the XH side of things. It's still kind of like a little blurry to me because the cameras are the sensor is similar, right? That's one of the things. That's one of the items that I consider interesting. It's not like the XH, it's like far superior, at least from a spec sheet standpoint. The price is definitely different, and the build is definitely different. The features, I'm not completely sure. We'll find out. I don't know if Fuji will have an XH3. If they do, then we know that that's gonna be their flagship. Again, I do not see a lot of promotion on the XH cameras. It's mostly XT that I see, and I thought the XT was the flagship series of cameras from Fuji. I guess I was wrong. But yeah, let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed this one. I'm glad this one is almost 15 minutes. If I hadn't rambled so long at the end, maybe it would have been short. But again, thank you for your time. I will see you next time.